Hey folks, it's time for another video. Hello everyone. Today we're going to have a little conversation in the studio here. Most of our videos when we're traveling and most of other people's videos reflect on beautiful van life, scenery, camping, beautiful campgrounds, scenic over lakes, nice sunsets, sunrises, and those are all part of van life. But those are not every day, and you'll get a lot of good days, don't get me wrong, and I love it, and I enjoy the outdoors, and I enjoy the camping, but there are some times when it can be a little bit less glamorous than what is sometimes portrayed on YouTube. Having said that, let's talk about a couple of those types of things that do affect us a little bit. Number one, weather. It's not as bad, and a lot of this will apply to regular RVs as well, but it's not as bad if you're in a 28, 30-foot travel trailer or a 35 to 40-foot fifth wheel or a Class A motorhome, because if you get stuck out in inclement weather, you've got all your indoor amenities. Not so much in the van. You kind of get a little bit claustrophobic when you got to sit in there and it's raining and storming outside, and you really can't go park your butt outside and enjoy the weather. Doesn't happen that often to us. We've been very fortunate, but it has happened, and you just have to make do around it. What can you do in the rain? Well, you can listen to music. I've rigged up an Amazon Echo in the van, and I can basically just play Sirius XM radio through it. So I can put it on a channel of my choosing and with voice commands and actually have music coming through that. I also do a lot of audiobooks. So I can just recline in the front seat or recline on the bed and listen to an audiobook either through my phone or through the Amazon Echo. That's one way I deal with the rain. Sometimes I take a nap. That's another way to deal with the rain. But and sometimes you can take, especially in the van, we can just take a ride into town, if there is a town, grab a bite to eat, and just mingle around the streets if they're covered, and get out of the rain that way and not have to be sitting in a claustrophobic van. Normally that's not an issue, but boy, when it occurs, it can be it can be something that you're not really enjoying that particular day. Though I must admit, the good days outweigh the bad, and it's well worth it. But a lot of that's not portrayed, so I wanted to share a little bit of that with you today. Cold weather. I've been stuck out in the cold weather in my travels, especially up north, New Hampshire, Vermont. I think it was down to 16 degrees one night, with a little bit chilly. A lot of bit chilly, and you find ways to stay warm. A good comforter that really retains the heat. Running an electric heater in conjunction with the propane. I'm fortunate in my van, I've got Volt Start and a Roadtrek Zion, so I can run it even when boondocking. I'll run the propane a little more when I'm boondocking, and if I'm plugged in, I'll run the electric a little more and save on the propane. So deal with inclement weather that way when it gets cold. I don't stay in the cold environments that long. It's usually when I'm in a travel situation and having to come from up north back down south, and I don't quite get out in time, or I'm visiting some friends. So you keep that in mind. That's probably the worst thing. I've not actually experienced it yet, but and knock on wood that I don't, but becoming ill, whether it be cold, a flu, whatever, and being stuck in the van could be a little problematic too. I've been fortunate that that hasn't happened. But again, on a day like that, when you really feel the crummies, you're not going to feel like enjoying the weather and the outside, even if it is good. And you can do the same thing there as you do at home. You end up climbing into bed and dosing up with medicine. So the other thing that doesn't get portrayed a lot, but it's something that definitely van life people experience, and a lot of full-time or most of the time RVers will experience the same thing, and that's a little bit of loneliness. Now, if you travel alone, it's going to be even more so. And again, that's your nature. Some people like to be alone. If you do, then that loneliness is not going to bother you that much. I am very good as a loner. I've traveled alone a lot. It's not a major problem for me, though you do kind of get in a little funk and you need to see some people or talk to some people once in a while. And a lot of my trips are around people, so that's how I deal with that. I go and see people, visit people from my past. Many of my trips revolve around people. I'm also fortunate now in having Ginny in my life, so when I travel, I'm traveling with someone. That gives me a little more companionship on a day-to-day basis, and overall that's good, though the downside of that when you're doing van life is there's not a whole lot of room in that van, especially in the short SRT that we have. We have to kind of do a shuffle dance to get past each other in the aisle, but that's all part of the fun of it too. It's not really a negative. The other part of the negative relative to people and loneliness is two parts to it really. One, most cases you're away from family and friends. Now, when we went up in the summer to Michigan, I was close to family and friends, so I was away from my family down here. Ginny was away from her entire family for the entire summer. So when it was time to come back, she was definitely a little homesick. I didn't have quite as big a problem because I was up there visiting family and friends. Now I'm more homesick than I'm down here, but that's an aspect of it too, is that as you travel, you'll find that you're away from your family and friends a lot. And but again, you've got text messages, you've got phone messages, you've got phone calls, and you've got all of your FaceTime things on Apple and all the stuff you can do with the phones nowadays, where you can do video calls and everything else. So it does allow you to stay a little closer than it used to, but still you kind of miss those people. And the last aspect of that, which considering I do a lot of traveling, a day here, a day there, visiting 7 people in 8 days and whatnot, is the saying goodbye. That's always a little sad, to say goodbye to a scenic site, say goodbye to a close friend or a family member that you've gone to visit. I usually go to Florida in January and line up an itinerary of 6, 7, 8 days, and I'm seeing 6, 7, 8 people. And each day you go visit a new friend and you enjoy and relish on that occasion to spend some quality time. But at the end of that, you've got to turn around and hit the road again and say goodbye. And those are sad times in van life that a lot of times doesn't get expressed. Would I change what I'm doing? Absolutely not. I love every minute of it, but I just wanted you guys to be aware there are some downsides. You know, and as I say, it's the good outweighs the bad, but you need to be aware of them. If you can't stand to be away from family and friends for more than a day or two, this isn't for you. I do well with that, but again, I've lived away from home for most of my life. I left Michigan in '89 and would only return once or twice a year, you know, and so I got used to being away from family and friends, and I look forward to seeing them now, and that's part of our summer vacation, is now spending it in Michigan with family and friends. But I was adapted to that quite well, so it was not as big a burden on me, but I know other people that it really hits home when they have to be away. And so just be aware of it, and be aware of the weather, and have some contingency plans, read a book, do an audio book, have music available when you get stuck inside, especially in a van where you don't have a whole lot of room. Anyway, that wraps this video up. Just a little short informational type video to share with you today on some of the things that you don't always see when you watch the glorious, glamorous pictures of van life. Most of it is good. Not all of it is glamorous, and there are some days where you get downright bored and lonely, and you have to learn to deal with them. So take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for traveling with us when we travel, and we'll catch you all down the road a piece. Take care, and bye-bye.